All right, so we're going to start another round of social studies notes. I'm here with Trixie. Say hi. Yeah, she's squirming as usual. All right, so today we're going to do the Carolinas. That would be North and South Carolina and Georgia. Get this camera better. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off with the Carolinas. All right, so the Carolinas were originally one colony, and it was kind of more centered around South Carolina, what we now call South Carolina, and it was founded in 1663. Trixie says I want down. South of Virginia, of course, would be North and South Carolina. You have got to get still. All right, I'll go put you up. All right, we're going to flip it over to the map to shade in the Carolinas, which would be both North and South Carolina. So I'm going to shade them both blue. Both boxes are blue. And now I'm going to shade in what would have been the Carolina colony, which would be North and South Carolina. Now eventually these two broke apart into separate ones, North and South Carolina. This is not very good coloring. I should have used a bigger point because this is so small. That'd be mean to me. Alright, and then the city worth mentioning. Like I said, this really centered to the southern part of the colony, where we would now call it South Carolina. The main city is Charleston, is what we call it today. It was called Charlestown back in the 1700s and 1600s. Oh, I need to shade in my circle. I feel like we need to give like a special shout out to our county. Pamlico County would be right in here. Yes. Pamlico. That's an arrow. It's trying to be an arrow. Alrighty. So I got the Carolinas shaded and Charleston in pink. Let me flip it on back over. Founders. This is a group of people, and it was 8 of them, 8 proprietors. And we talked about what proprietor meant in a previous video, but it's basically somebody who is creating a company or creating something, putting the money in it, the energy into it, and it's essentially theirs. The colony was founded to make money, most certainly. In the Carolinas, the settlers that settled there established plantations. On these plantations, crops like tobacco and rice were grown. That's an O. The northern part, which would be North Carolina, grew more slowly than the southern part did. And the reason why is because we did not have a port up here like they did in South Carolina. As you know, our coast is very treacherous. Lots of ships sank as they sailed around our coast. That's why it's called the graveyard of the Atlantic. It's not hospitable, we would say, for ports. The southern part grew rapidly, or the part we know as South Carolina, because of its port at Charleston, which was then called Charlestown. Oh, sorry. In 1729, the colony was split into North Carolina and South Carolina. Incidentally, since this time period, like what it is today, North Carolina is definitely more populated than South Carolina. We have much bigger cities: Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, and so we didn't stay the less populated between the two for sure. All right, we are ready for Georgia. Okay, finally. Took me a minute to get that paper right. All right, Georgia was founded in 1733, so quite some time after the Carolinas. That would be 37 and 33, 70 years later. 70. And this was south of the Carolinas. Yeah, I put Trixie up. She was getting, woo, fidgety, squirmy. I thought she wanted to come out, but I guess she just wanted to come out and run around, not come out and sit in my lap. All right, we're going to flip over to the map because we're going to shade in our last colony, which is Georgia. All right, I don't have red, so I'm going to use red for Georgia. And that does not look like the Georgia of today. This is a portion of the Georgia that we have today. Just as South Carolina looks pretty close to present-day South Carolina, North Carolina is clearly missing this little bit of a nose shape that we have here. But Georgia is missing quite a big chunk of what we now consider Georgia over in this direction. All right, what color should I use? I can use orange. All right, and then the main city for Georgia is Savannah, and that is located here. Now, Savannah is not the capital today. The capital of Georgia is Atlanta. And Atlanta is located in this area or so of the state. It is not in what is shaded in red here. And Charleston is not the capital of South Carolina either while we're talking about it. But it's still a really big city and certainly a place people like to visit. All right, let's flip it back over. Founder of Georgia was James Oglethorpe. Oglethorpe. This colony was founded for two reasons: to make money and to help debtors. People who are in debt are called debtors. meaning they owe other people money. Okay. So they help the debtors in this way. They, which they refer to them as the poor could settle in the colony to work off their debt. Settlers from Germany and Switzerland also came to Georgia for religious freedom and land. James Oglethorpe became friends with the Native Americans in the area. And help settlers keep the peace. Alright, that's it for this video. Make sure that you have done the map. You have completed the notes on this side. Your name is on it. And you can put it in the basket. There is no secret question for this round of notes for the Carolinas and Georgia.